Way to go.
You read all you said.
The next one, so that's what she just talked about. Oh, this is gonna be a quick one. Like a minute. If it's, and then I think it's our case.
You're exactly right. Had I walked in and said, good morning, we're only going to take a minute.
We're only going to take a minute.
Do that.
To load. Only gonna take a minute to load.
Yeah, I watched my office. Connection back there. Well, that loads.
On the Zoom call, will you delete or will you accept the message on the other screen?
The way it's good. All right, are we trying it one more time?
Yeah. I'm gonna try to.
Sorry, guys.
In YouTube.
Yeah, you too, yeah.
We'll check on that.
This is why we're doubling down on technology.
Yeah, exactly. We are. Exactly.
Okay, this isn't our technology. Okay, this
No,
is
it's-
bad fiber optics.
Yeah.
Not ours.
Hey. Yeah, we might have to skip it.
You're exactly right. Had I walked in and said, good morning.
With that, so on that one, I'll back to.
Okay, I'll give you the quick version of that. What Gary had said in that, and what we were going to intend to say, and we'll share it later. Super simple, right? Is that the economic data that we're facing right now is kind of topsy-turvy. There's some like housing values, right? Why are housing values at where they're at right now? What's the number one reason that housing values have stayed where they are? Like inventory demand, right? Inventory stayed up because we had 10 years where we weren't able to pace the demand and the growth in Minnesota specifically, across the country. So what Gary was getting at was that interest rate last year was the second busiest year in record. So what does that mean about what this year's going to look like? It's not going to look like 21, but if you look at how the numbers look, and how many of you were in business in 18? How many of you had good years in 18? Right? Did the work. So if you were in business in 18 and you did the work, you still were there. So here's what he was telling us. Do the work, be committed to the numbers, get very familiar and comfortable so that you can understand and prescribe to your customers the market, right? The prescription that we give them is based on what we understand about the market, right? And he gave us some really good information. We'll make sure that you guys not only get that one, but get some other ones that, I mean, I don't know. I've seen Gary speak 13 times, and I think this year he felt the most direct, most driven about what this next phase of our business looks like. And he didn't pull some punches, right? And I think if some of our other videos do load, you'll see that. So we're going to invite now.
Hannah,
Yes.
we got John Corey. Is Ryan Beerbench should be online. He woke up a little congested this morning, so he's going to be our zooming in. And then Alina actually should be barreling in any second. So
We're here. Wait. So
right in my way.
I wanted to look at our guests. Right, I need to Bob Barker microphone. Sit over here next time. So, you know, let's start with Courtney. Let's give us an overview.
Well, this was my 18th family reunion. So
Not to say, but 1-8.
one eight. Exactly. And I've only missed one since I started with Keller Williams in 2000. Well, it would have been 2005. They're spectacular. I mean, not only does it launch your year, to me, it gets the spring going. It's just like you come back and you're like, let's go. As Grant will attest, and I think it's going to be more fun to hear from somebody that's gone for the first time. But it's like drinking from a fire hose. It really is. You know, the thing I like about family reunion is that you can customize what you're interested in. You can go to the classes that are interesting to you, and you can filter out all the stuff that's not as viable. But the stuff that the intangibles too that I've always gotten out of family reunion is all of the side conversations, bumping into somebody that you're just meeting for the first time, sharing ahas, and then actually going out as a market center and getting a chance to actually spend some time with your colleagues, getting to know them better, sharing ideas, bouncing things off, and then collaborating with different ideas. And then, of course, there's always the vision speech. You can't miss the vision speech. That's Gary talking, like you said, not pulling punches this year, but what we're looking at in 23 and beyond. It's 4 days of like incredible information. It's the best way, if you've never really seen Keller Williams, it is the best way to see Keller Williams and really understand the heart of the company. Great education, great collaboration, and then it's just a heck of a lot of fun too. I mean, we're already excited about Mondays. We're already like, let's go.
Grant, go ahead.
So all of that I've heard, I don't know how many times over the last year that I've been in the business. And of course I go, all right, yeah, you drink a lot of the Keller Kool-Aid, that's fine. I get it. Absolutely worth it. For new agents who haven't gone before, go again. It wasn't just the data. We can get the data from here. We can get the data from anywhere, but being in that environment and being able to talk to random agents around the country. I already have 6 referral contacts that are using me as their Minnesota agent. Just from, I was waiting for a car, I had a conversation. A lot of that, I mean, if that gets me 1 client this next year, it's paid for it, full, and then some. So but being able to share ideas, like you said, the sit downs at night that we would have, we'd all sit there and talk about all these things that happened, and there's a lot of stuff. And then being able to kind of just do this, say, I want to talk about that, like this idea of weight. For me, it was really big to just not take the million notes because they're all going to get stuffed away and not used anyway. Just wait for something to resonate with me and write it down. And that's what I went with, because that was something I know that I can follow up on, something I know I can do, because that was it. That was clear and cut for me. And that happened twice throughout it. One was charitable contributions, which you guys will probably hear more about it because I'm going to make it as huge as I can. There's going to be an event later on this year that we're going to attach to with kids and all this stuff. And we're going to make it very huge because they're a great organization. They've been doing it forever, but they just needed to be doing bigger than what it is now.
And a lot of that got flushed out by the pool.
Yeah, seriously, that's what, yeah, like easy conversation. We all of a sudden then we're hashing out how to make it happen and getting people on board already. And we've been back for not even a week really, and I've already had multiple conversations with getting people on board for it. The ALC about doing call lines and other things for mental health for real estate agents, because that was one thing that I noticed just literally walking around. We have wellness, we have clarity communities, we have all this other stuff, but the root cause is mental health, and we don't have anything to actually help with that, address that, talk about it, whatever it could be. So I'm gonna start to kind of push on that a bit this year as well. So, but it is just great. It was great to see all these different perspectives from agents of all levels. I mean, you had luxury agents, you had agents who are, making millions a year. And then you had agents who are there for the first time, hardly made any money the last year, but they're just wanting ideas. It was great. The energy was really great. I did drink the Kool-Aid, so I have a Keller tattoo on my butt. It's just like you, but I honestly encourage it for everyone. I know it's a cost thing for a lot of people, but it's well worth it, because even the simplest ideas you can come out with, and then like Matt talked about, that mental change that can and does happen if you allow it. It was great in most situations. So
We talked a couple weeks ago about a frequency change in here, about what that looks like. Family reunion offers you a frequency change in your business. It makes you question the things that you've done. It makes you double down on the things that have worked, because you're hearing it from people that are producing. I think, what Sean said, it makes perfect sense to me. And that is, I need something to keep me going sometimes, right? And this is a really good way to start getting involved in your own business, because it's exciting and you know that other people are doing it too. So you feel like I can do this because I'm doing it with people, right?
I'm Colleen Healy. met me at. This is my 4th family reunion. And I really believe that you can't step in the same river twice. So what that means for me is like, every time I've gone, I've been a different person, you know? And so I've even gone this time to the same session I attended 4 or 5 years ago. And I am picking up different things because I'm a different person now. And so I went frankly to be inspired. I've been feeling just this fall and winter, just kind of feel frankly, just kind of like, oh, I just kind of been in a slump. And I went to be inspired, and I was inspired. I think it's really worth time and money. It's super expensive. I mean, I'd probably budget $3,000 to go for a weekend, and that's a lot of money. You can write it all off, of course, but I just feel like what a great opportunity to go pick classes and be taught by people who are multimillionaires, who figured this out and are giving you their best scripts on how they solve things. I just love the teaching part of Keller Williams and the sharing part where people are sharing these like gold nuggets, frankly, of how they've navigated their business. And I wrote a ton of notes. I'm retyping them. We used to do that in school, and it helps me kind of remember if I do it soon enough after I've heard the information. I'd be happy to share those. I also filmed one of them kind of bootlegged because it was coming at me so fast. And so if anybody wants to watch that, which class was it? I'll tell you in a minute. I can't think of it in a second. I'll think of it. But anyways, but people were just saying so many things that's just like, oh my gosh, you cannot write it this fast. So I have a bootleg if anyone wants to see it. But I know that a lot of things are going to show up on command soon too. Or no, KW Connect soon.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can watch things there too. And I stayed in a house, a bunch of agents here, and it was super fun. And it was just fun to get to know people better in a much deeper way. So that was really special. So I've been putting some notes up on our Rockstar page. Like next year, I think we should get like a hotel block or rent a couple houses together, or, you know, stay together so we have that time in the evening to connect, because it builds community. And you know, this is can be kind of a singular business. You know, we all sometimes hit those times where you feel like you're the only one doing this. And so I think making those connections with each other is really.
I want to add a little bit that you mentioned, like being a breakout with agents that are earning $1 million a year or more, right? It's important to realize that all of those people were new at one point as well, and they were just like any one of us, right? And then they implemented systems, models, and were consistent with their business, and then they're on the stage of family reunion. So
A lot of them were very open about how they started.
Absolutely.
It's like you said on Wendy and Jay's stuff, but I mean, Jay Patterson, they're pretty much top tier, especially on the charitable contribution side. And they sit there and go, but don't try to do this like we're doing right now. That's not in any of your wheelhouses at the moment. You know that. Start here. Take these steps first. That will get you, but then again, it works to do it. And just take the time and let it happen and make every little step count, and you'll get there. But a lot of them were very, very poignant about saying we didn't start here.
yeah,
We had to come from something else. We were all sitting here listening to someone else talk about it, you know, before we took those steps to get further and further.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry.
Crazy morning.
It was a long couple months. So this was my first time going to family reunion, and I'm a big, like, I could meet somebody waiting for the light to turn. If we could roll down windows and talk, like I would. So for me, it was, I walked out of class because some of them I wasn't going to get anything from, or I didn't think I was going to. And the ones that I stayed were ones where I like to rush. So there were people who were open to being honest. It wasn't all like $8 million and I have a better car than you. It was like actually like what you said, where they were actually saying,
Yeah.
This is where I started. It was horrible. Like we did eat ramen for 2 years. Like, and I Minnesota, if you don't know, he's relicensing their teachers. So I let my teaching license lapse now twice, and they called me months ago, and they're like, guess what? Like, we're doing it for free, you have 5 more years. My husband was like, the more you work back, it's gonna stall moving forward. So family reunion was like my kick in the can. And I took it as a chance to meet every single person I could and get phone numbers from every other inch of this country and other countries that I could. And be like, I'm from Wisconsin. I know you already have. And it's like, this is my number, this is my name, and what's the name of your dog? And so like every escalator ride, I met at least 2 people. One time I rode in an elevator. I met, yeah, some really nice people. There was a group of ladies from Chicago that were really angry at one meeting, so we got together and we talked. There was, I mean, it was so, and I've been texting them all week. It's like, oh, it's so great. Like, there's a woman who lives in North Central California, and she only works with horse people. And like now we're friends on Facebook, and one of them called me. She's like, I think. It's a lot of pressure. I'll keep this conversation going. So it's a lot more than just. One of my like idols is the Blair Market. She has spread to the California market. Her name is Nellie Dencher. I love her. I got to meet her in person, which we talk a lot. I call her for everything. And so she's shorter. I imagine her, I looked up as this giant in my head. And it was like, both trying to learn, both trying to make connections. Like, oh my gosh, we're and paid the same ticket to get there. And it's amazing how level the field is. It's us putting the right, starting blocks up, or wearing the right shoes, or just being willing to do the work is what I heard in every session. It was reaffirming, like, Steve, I've been doing your notes every morning, and it's crazy the amount of connections that have come from that for me. Like yesterday, I got another phone call with someone, and she's like, I got your notes. And she wants to partner with me. I was like, yes. So it works. We were here the day Steve talked about his 4x4. It does work. And it was a big boost to my lead gen. And I shared it at family reunion with several people. It's a
And I
lot
agree
more.
with about Nellie Denninger. She's in a category of 1. She's got about 20 kids, no, but she's got 10. She's amazing.
She had the little bambino with her.
At least one.
So what's one thing that you guys that you took away that you're going to implement, or what's, let's start with you. What's one thing that you're going to
I've been talking with a group of women from around the world about something we've all talked about. We did in here, if you weren't here that night, we did was it a reverse bowl?
Yep.
And 2 of the meetings I went to touched on it again. And it's all stuff we know, right? It's all stuff we talked about in this room. And it was more that it's a 3-month process to begin with, and then it's 2 months afterwards. And it's doing it once a quarter. And I think I talked in our women's group text message too, that's my goal is starting this next quarter. I'm gonna do my first, like, it needs to be done.
Yep.
And I need to start, I'm planning for it now. It's not 1 week. And I know last time my kids had things canceled, so I jumped on with yours. And I saw so much missed opportunity because I hadn't the long and the big circle prospect piece of it. So reverse bold and doing this.
reverse bold, for those of you that don't know, you encourage people to call you. So you encourage your database and people that are within your database and outside of that to call you. That's your reverse 100, is to get people to call you instead of you having to call them. Clean?
I went to one training and it was a mindset shift for me, where they talked about objections are your friends. I've always thought they're really annoying. And so the reason why they're your friends is if you're calling somebody and they're giving you objections, they're not hanging up on you. They're giving you objections because this is what they're stuck at too. And so my big like aha was I need to work on script practice. I've been doing this for 6 years, but I feel like I didn't work in script practice for all objections. And so that they become all my friends. You know what I mean? And so that anytime somebody says a reason, I'm like, oh, well, this, you know, and I do, there's things I say, you know, I've got some scripts in my mind, but anyways, I just never thought of that. Like, they're your friends. People are not hanging up on you. If they're not hanging up, that means they want to hear what you have to say. So I thought that was a really good concrete thing to think about.
That was a great one, by the way, because that one got me on it. I said it on an objection one. And
Yeah.
it was awesome because and it wasn't more that they were objecting their objection. They're asking more about it, getting them to explain it. And then that was the whole piece of this year especially. Everybody's going to have the data. Everybody's going to have the things to say. It's how are your skills in building the relationship? The transactions are going to be there for anybody. Everybody can talk about that piece. Any agent has those materials, but it's how can you build a relationship and asking the questions about their objections that all of a sudden makes them feel heard, which is good because then you get those things addressed ahead of time anyway. Makes your job easier down the road too. But that's a good
So I
one.
wrote down those notes. So the objection model, what they said is when someone gives you objection, be like, acknowledge it. I understand. I get that. I hear you, whatever. And then isolate, clarify. So other than this objection, is there anything else that's keeping you from buying or selling your house? Okay, so you're just isolating it. And then 3 is your objection handle. You're addressing the issue. And then 4 is like your close. So, yeah.
Someone with an objection is just someone that's asking you for education.
Yeah.
That's essentially a way to look at it.
Friend.
Instead of being afraid of it,
Right.
you're only gonna be afraid of it if you don't know what to say, right?
Right.
That's why you have to practice the dialogues.
With that, then mine, I kind of talked about a little bit, is the charitable contribution side of it and finding my way into that to be able to, without sounding cliche, have a purpose for what I'm doing. Because since I've started this, I thought it was great and everything, but I wanted something behind it. And for me, even just starting out is that every closing, and I'll promote this ahead of time, that for the people that work with me, I'll do a donation in their honor to something in their new community. So they can even choose what it is, that it gives them more of the power to say, hey, I'm moving in and they've got this great library over here. Let's donate to that. If they want to match mine, that's great. Or if they want to do more, I'll match theirs up to a certain point. And start to influence others to give as well. And find ways to do it in the communities that we're around. That's kind of my bigger one, let's say.
I would say the thing I got from Gary was, you know, we've been talking about how he didn't pull any punches. He said this year it can be very, very hard for some people. And I heard from him and then more than one person that came across the stage to say, double and triple down on the basics. This is not a time to be taking a lot of chances, spending money on lead generation and all that stuff. Go back to what works, you know, do the open houses, maximize your listings. When you get a listing, maximize the opportunities you have to lead generate around those. And that's one of the things we're implementing now. We're doing our showcase opens and we're door knocking around our open houses. We're doing neighborhood exclusive open houses. You know, all of that stuff is going to be really important this year. And then I think the other thing that I got a lot out of was the keynote speaker, Ed Milet, who somehow I'd never heard of. Yeah. But it was awesome. His whole thing was the power of one more. You know, are you going to be the type of person that will do one more call, one more rep, get up one more, you know, 1 hour earlier? You know, it's just an incremental thing. It doesn't have to be, you know, a lot. That resonates with a couple other books, The Compound Effect, which is another great one, and I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, really good stuff. So those are the things I think there.
You know, to your point, one of the things you kind of mentioned going back to fundamentals, right? Stick to the basics. We already know, again, we have 3 top areas that agents get business from, and that's database, open house, and online leads, right? So online leads mean social media centers. So
That was part of Gary's slides too. In their categories they threw up, that the internet and social media and all that is still one of the top. Opens are still right up there. So like you said, take advantage of it. Use them to go knock, use them to, you know, send things out to your neighbors. Hey, this one sold over the weekend. Because if inventory stays down, it's going to be that aspect of the listing.
so you're wondering what to do with those 3 things. That's working very well.
Real quick, we do have another participant that was with us. that tried to sneak away from it. So I'd love to just know, Rico, is there anything you want to throw in? Rico joined us for his first time. It was awesome having him down there.
What he said is what I was thinking. Evelette was kind of the thing that kind of touched me, like the one more. It's like, you know, you have them days where you feel like, man, I just give up or I want to quit. It's just like one more. Kind of like building a habit like that. And then I went to a breakout session with Alec. We kind of went to like the social media thing. So that's kind of like the main thing I'm kind of like focusing on right now. Kind of like getting social media hard. You know, everybody's always on their phone, always on TikTok, always on Facebook. So I kind of want to be the face and be seen of that, you know. So I'm trying to get more out there on that. And then just kind of what Grant said, just out there, I was just talking to gang agents, just like referrals and stuff like that. Like I met this, she made, her sales volume was 12 million off of just referrals. She said her whole business is just based off referrals. So it's kind of like crazy to me that you can be making that much money just off of referrals alone. So it was just those few things, just like, it was like kind of like what Sean said too, it's like overwhelming, so much information for a new agent. I've only been in here for like 3-4 months. It was like, I just had to like take one thing and just run with it. So I'm just running with the social media thing for right now.
I think success leaves clues, right? And the success of going to a family reunion is that you see other people around the country that are working on their craft, right? It's about building blocks. Oftentimes, I think we all go, I'm going to go to this convention, somebody's going to tell me how to do it, I'm going to go from here to here, right? The truth is, anything we're doing is just going from here to here, and here to here, and here to here. And as we move our way up, reality is that our life looks incredibly different, right? But oftentimes we miss that because we think we got to go right to that success. And when I don't hit what that other agent's success is, then I feel like, well, it's not going to work for me. A family reunion reminds you to show up in your business every day, to do the work and be committed to it, even when it sucks. And Ed Milet made me cry in front of my new coworkers, ugly cry.
Oh, not your coworkers, the strangers we made you sit with. You met.
But I did meet some friends. So
Everybody, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think out of this group, I know who I was sitting next to. I don't think there was a dry eye, I love you, Matt, but I was like,
Bubbly.
We won't throw anybody under the bus.
and the worst part is, and then all of a sudden somebody says to me afterwards, someone I don't even know, looks at Canada and says, "Oh, I saw you two on stage," and we were. These were like. I think it was, again, I love the comment you made. We all paid the same price to get there, no matter who you were, no matter whether you were brand new Rico, whether you were, you know, Jay Papa said, I can guarantee you those guys don't just all walk in. But yeah, it's amazing. Canada.
Okay, and that's the other thing I wanted to say too, is that, and you look at our panel, and I know, like, for Nick and I, we traveled for NAR and SPAR for many years. And I think, you know, like in my position now, I work for Raina at cross country, right? But I have my license, and I've had my license, it'll be 20 years in April. And Sean's been doing this a long time, and Grant's been here a year, and Clean's, you know, everybody's at a different place. And I think when you haven't gone, and especially if you haven't gone, right, you think, oh, it's just people who, right, do a lot of production, or I wouldn't, it's not like that. Like, I don't even sell real estate. I have my license, but I don't sell. And I will tell you that this is my second year going in my current position, and I bring back stuff every time. It doesn't matter where you are in your business, where you are in your life, where it doesn't matter. You will, I get stuff going in my current role. There is so, it's amazing. And I think that's really, you know, Nick and I have had lots of conversations. This is what a lot of times will move your business, and it will, because you are around people who, you're around people who are new, but you're around people who are doing lots of business. And like Rico said, there's so many, but it is sometimes where you'll find what is going to be what you want to do and where you want to focus, because there is so many different ways to do it. Like Matt said, networking doesn't have to be a focus thing.
You're gonna hear that agent who's gonna get up there, and they are this, now they're this huge agent. Okay, great. And like we said, you're not gonna get there overnight. They're gonna tell you, but there's a good chance when they first got into the business, they weren't listening. They weren't doing.
They were just this really cute agent who was gonna come in and be like, you know, knock off everyone's sock. And it was great the first couple of months. And there are agents who are gonna tell you, they lost their home. They lived out of a car. But they dug in deep. They came and they poured into themselves and their business by doing again. And it was just JOB and do the WORK, like they did it. And these people, there they are, and they're doing it. And there's not one person who's like, I just got really lucky. Like all of a sudden these people are coming in, I never picked up the phone, never walked down the street, never even had any signs. They just all like just flew because my parents knew everybody. It's great. But it's just not gonna happen. We've got to pour in and do it. And I love what. Right, Mark King, he lived in this, I mean, dude like was losing everything and it's just, and a lot of them, I mean, come back to the MREA and it's, you know, and all, I love how all of you kind of went back to the same thing, which is all gonna be touched on. Sean, you commented about back to the basics. So the reverse fold, Alina, we actually, for those of you that haven't done it, we have one coming up. And I don't remember the exact date.
In March.
I was just saying, I was sure it was this
I
month.
think it might be the
And what we're doing is, if you sign up to do this reverse 100, this fold, it's $50. But what happens is last time we had enough people that we had $1,000. So now what you're doing is you're putting on your social media, hey, I just need you to call me on this day from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Just call me. Just call me. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Get your friends to call me. Get someone to call me. You call me. I'm going to put your name in a drawing. You could win $1,000. Now it doesn't. When it's your clients, they don't realize that there's also 10 other people in the room doing it. But either way, if you have an opportunity to win, and then we do actually a live spin the wheel, and literally one of the clients of these people that participated. So if we had 10 last time, and this time we get 20, and you're doing $50 a person, we can either lower it or offer a bigger prize. Get those people to call because now you've made that contact. They're like, wow, like, look what he's doing, look what's happening. So that's coming. We've got script objections. You mentioned that, Colleen. We've got people, we're going to be starting to put together some scripting classes. So those are coming up. We had charitable contribution grant. Actually, this is something that is very near and dear to everyone's heart from Gary to Mo. So we've talked about grant coming in and talking about that here maybe in the next team meeting. So we can really get moving because again, we got to kind of start doing the actions and then doubling down, charge the storm. Like, hello, like just get back to those basics, start doing it. That's what it's all going to be about. You're going to see a lot of stuff added to your calendar here.
If you don't, oh, sorry, we also got to be and give Lisa Purcell a shout out because.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she nailed it. By the way, it was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and I did talk about the reverse bold. That was one of the things that they had me talk about because it was all about referrals, the panel that I was on. So that was fun to share. And I also talked about the networking with other agents and really getting to know them, which it sounds like you, Elena, have put effort into as well, you know? And so then you have these new friends all across the country. So it's great. And so I didn't spend as much time socializing with you guys because I was meeting up with other people I met. So sorry.
Thank you, Lisa. You did awesome.
Thank you.
With that, I think Nick mentioned, so next year, family reunion, ballpark, the actual dates have not been released yet. But usually it's right around that same time.
17th to the 21st.
They did.
But
release
I'm
them.
following some pages.
Okay, so as of yesterday, they just said the ISL that they didn't have the actual dates nailed down because there's something conflicting with it.
Yeah.
But they'll, thank you. I knew it was something.
In Vegas.
It is going to be in Vegas. As soon as I have the dates confirmed, we're going to block 15 rooms so that people can take those rooms so we can all stay together. We can do what everybody here is talking about. With that said, remember guys, and I'm just going to lay it out there for the new people, for anyone who's not new, if you want to go next year and you're like, it's always a lot to just pull that out of my pocket right before. See me, let's talk about setting you up on a payment plan. But right now we start putting money aside and I can do that with you. I can do it through your monthly billings. I can do it different ways, but I can help you with it. And then it's sitting there. And then when you say, hey, I need new shoes, I'd be like, nah, sorry, you're going to family reunion. But so, Amy, don't wait because there are a lot of times, I will be honest with a few people last year who came to me super late, and they're like, oh, I really wish I would have been doing that, but maybe I can start now. That's only like 3 months, so let's talk. We're about a year away.
I have 3 things that I wanted to add on to what you said, and that was one of them. In the meantime, for everybody who missed out, James Shaw, who is the VP of training, does a 7 a.m. Zoom call, and every day you get nuggets like what they talked about. So even though family reunion is a year away, jump on that. If you're not an early riser, you can watch it replay on Facebook.
James brings the.
And then also tomorrow we are gonna be playing in here at noon. The vision speech will be released, the full speech. So obviously you can go out and watch it yourself, but we'll have it playing in here if people want to come together that weren't at family reunion and hear that speech.
He said perspective. He delivered perspective for you to give to the market so that when somebody has a conversation with you, that it's not a script necessarily, you're actually being able to help them understand the market because they're looking for market perspective right now.
Yeah, and the vision speech is like 70 slides or maybe more. But it's all about what's going on in the market. And so and Gary's like, use these, use this in your listening presentation, use them.
Use them on social
Study
media,
them.
have a conversation
Yeah.
with people about what their interest rates are. And he said this and it reported it. We're not going to see 4 ever again in our lifetime. For most of us that are over 40 for sure. So we're not going to do that. Yeah. We're never going to do that again. So we got to stop telling people that, oh, the rates are going to come down. They're not, we don't know that. So you have to sell in a market in which you can provide perspective for people because it's always a good opportunity to buy real estate. And it is. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. We have a proven record of it. Did you have other things?
Well, I was just gonna plug the bookshelf. We started a bookshelf in the, what are we calling that little area?
You were the first one.
That was the first one. It was your idea. So make the name.
Great idea.
Need a book. Got a book.
You gonna say something?
I just had a question. In so much as that we are the largest real estate company in the world. What was the presence like of the other 60, am I right, 62 countries? Was there a presence there? I'm just curious. I mean, how
Canada had they all wore the same outfits for the vision speech, came with flags, they made this big to do, they were all singing "Oh Canada," all day. It was really
We're singing to Germany that we just, somewhere in Germany that we just opened. I feel like literally like, yeah, yeah, Turkey, the guy from Turkey was at my table.
that, but I just, thank you.
Yeah, and it's amazing because if you can stay, there's not gonna be a huge snowstorm at home. We had to leave early, but that last day during the inspirational morning, it is amazing when you hear the prayers of the faith of all these different countries. They each get up and say it. It is, again, it just gives me goosebumps, but it is so amazing to hear that. And I didn't even realize I was like so excited. The guy from Turkey that I sat with at this table and sat and talked to, and then all of a sudden I'm on the plane and I'm watching. I'm like, oh. But I mean, it was just, yeah, it's very good question, Steve. It's from all over the world, everybody.
We're open in Dublin for that.
Jordan, you wanna?
Have we convinced you? Thinking about going next year.
Yeah.
Who is it up?
Who wants to-
Who wants?
Stand together.
So if I want to go, we gotta just
Somebody's got to watch.
do it.
You're not getting.
I'm going to be watching the Market Center that day.
There was one thing, so there was a couple that there was one Colleen and I were at together. We got up and we left a little peeved. One thing that I heard in a lot that I went to was our market in the Midwest is very different than everywhere else in the world. It came up on the main stage a few times, but the one we were in, yeah, so they were, a lot of were promoting, asking for seller pays, asking for home warranties, asking for money off and 3-2-1 buy downs. And they're like, it's super easy in this market because, you know, a house has been on for 50+ days. And I was like, you should come to Minnesota.
Yeah, right.
And 2 women in front of me.
We closed more sales in a shift as a solo agent, the one that we did. And
It was
the only bummer one, but it just didn't apply.
the woman, the teacher on stage, she's like, last year I closed 85 deals. So I was like, gosh, you're amazing. And the the facilitator was like, well, you know, what's the nugget? How'd you do it? She goes, well, I'm not really sure. And she goes, I think I used this online thing. He goes, oh, great, what's the name of it?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I was like, why are you up there? That they were going back and forth, and I tapped one on the shoulder, I'm like, he as upset as I am. And they're in the Chicago market. I said, it's horrible. Everything's multiple offers. House lasts 24 hours or less. And I was like, finally, someone has experienced the same thing. But then maybe it won't last. Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
I think-
From that training though, is they just really talked about, this is the year where our clients are depending on us to educate them about the market. And last year is over. And so, and I was just like, yeah, last year's over. Like it's just such a different market. And so our number one thing is to educate ourselves about the market and then educate.
I love that. That's so important because when your client says, I want to wait, you have to find out what does that mean? Why do we wait? If they say, well, rates to come down, there's a huge educational piece to get right there. And always be focused on it if it's the right time for your family, you personally, I think. Because, you know, the other thing that you mentioned, remember when he was talking about the return you get for renting versus owning, right? So for the first 3 years of that, you're gonna be a little bit better off renting. After year 3, flips, and then owning is huge. So you have to start that 3 years as soon as you can to start to get the benefit. So
That's if you're renting and saving. If
Yeah.
you're paying your rent and you're not doing anything else, the number's flipped on day one. Because you're already building equity. So you think of it that way, like, and you can literally post that chart. It's very simple. It's not a ton of data where they're gonna get you in the headlights. It's literally just going, look, this is what happens.
yeah,
And people might think, well, I'm house poor, not saving. You are, because we literally build equity if we follow our 4% line that has been consistent over 40 years, which was an eye opener for me. I've heard it from everybody. And you think, okay, but are things really still increasing that way? And they are. It is an absolute line to not really like overdo it, but it falls in that rent only. So if you're gonna put something in your buyer's console, put this in there.
I agree.
Have that to show them and say, this is what will happen to your money.
Yeah.
I'll leave you guys with this for family. They did one thing that I think it changed how I thought about things. And that is your agenda is to be the evangelical for our business, not for our brand, although I love that too. An evangelical is somebody who's talking about housing, they're talking about, and what you're doing for that person is you're creating opportunity. If you stop thinking of it, I don't sell real estate, right? I create relationships where people want to buy, sell, and invest. So think about it that way. Change that prescription to yourself. Be an evangelical for real estate. Talk about it, be about it, share things on it, be a resource, and that'll come back to you in terms of clients, because you're constantly talking about it and they know they can come to you, say, I don't understand what this guy says, or this mortgage person said, or this title person said. Oh, I don't understand what the newscaster is saying about the market, because they don't say what is the truth. So be an evangelical. Thank you very much, you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, back there. Okay, I heard no. I saw on Facebook that somebody posted Facebook that Keller said that this year was going to be. I think we have,
We have a video on that.
but again, I would say join the, also have not what they will send them out. But I think, well, real quick, I think it's the next video after this one, where we talk about that. No, go back one, just real quick. We're not gonna skip, we'll skip this one, but go back. This is just kind of what Matt was talking to earlier.
Yeah.
About that, you do the 201 contacts in your database. Look at the shift and the jump. This is kind of your GCI, average GCI based on your contacts in your database. And again, this was a lot of research done on this across the board, but with command. But you get your 21 to 50, 51 to 100. When you get to that 101, 201 now, 1,000, your average GCI is 192,000. And I can bet that that's pretty accurate just from what I see daily when I'm pulling reports. And I can see, so I have reports I can pull to see who's using your command, what you got in there, what's going on. I'm gonna tell you that's pretty accurate. Even just at a market center level, not just a conference center. So get your contacts, the command. There. Somebody, I saw it and I looked and there was like.
I looked at the gray bar and legend down on the bottom. I got my answer.
Okay.
What the
Yeah,
difference?
so now, that's the number of agents that are currently that we're seeing at.
Skip the next one.
Skip
Just 'cause it's a lot of work.
And it kind of goes to the, let's see if this works. Fingers are crossed, right? Oh, that's not this. One. So it was the first one where he says, but that's okay. Try this one and just see if it works.
There's something important.
Yeah, in 2022, you had more than 1.1 million enclosed units.
Now, just to put that in perspective, more than 1 out of every 5 existing home sales went through a Keller Williams office. That's in the United States, clarity, more than 1 in 5. And so that's a big, you have all the data.
But we don't stop at the numbers, right?
That's right, we walk our talk.
Then kind of jumping into it, I wish we could really do that for everything. If I do the first one or the last one, but I will send them out. And that just takes us to kind of where we're at right now with what we have. If anybody has any client needs, anything that you want to share.
Do we have permission to go over by 5 minutes, you guys? We have permission, thank you. So go to that one.
I have to do one more time, I apologize. Pretty sure it's that one. Either this one or the last one, I told you, I can't remember which one it was. I'm gonna just try it.
You're exactly right. Had I walked in and said, good morning, we're only going to take a minute. We don't want to waste your time because we know you got a lot of real estate transactions to do. We just want to point out you're fixing to have the 3rd greatest year in volume sold in American history. Right? And you would all go, heck yeah, man, let's crush this. And then you look at all the other slides and you go, ooh, it's really bad. It's really Yeah, and it is. Make no mistake about it. I mean, I believe that no matter, in spite of that volume, I truly believe that 2023 will be a really tough year. It will be very, very hard. It will be hard. And if you don't work hard to match the hard, your year's going to suck. And what I notice is that there are people that don't do anything different than they were doing during the good times. You can't do that. When times get hard, you have to ramp it up. You have no choice.
How many of you had a great year last year? Some of you did, some of you didn't. If you had a great year last year, they said on stage, you have to increase your effort by 33%. And Gary then said, I would say it's 50. 50% of what you did last, you have to do 50% more than you did last year to come up with the same results. So what is that? What does that look like in your business? Is that daunting to you? No, you guys are good. This is daunting. Is it different? Right? So if it's going to be different, what are you going to do when you leave here today? What are you going to do? Okay? What are you going to do different this year? 50% more.
I'm so bad at the relationships, that's my goal.
There you go. So you're going to increase that. Steve, what are you going to do this year that you're going to push 50% harder?
My mantra, 4 by 4.
6 by 6, right? That's a 33% increase that you can show your business. Chad, what are you going to do?
Just fill in the top of the funnel with whatever I can, talk to more people, network with more people. Just more, deeper relationships. And at the end of every conversation, just make sure you ask them, you can't help them. Can I help?
Yeah.
Right? Or how can I help you?
Yeah. My desire is simple. So let's run over this really quickly. It's
Latest market things. So obviously people are doing something.
Colleen, you have one here in St. Paul.
Oh, I sold it.
You sold it? How did you get that listing?
A former client told me about the unit and said she wanted to buy it because she heard in her building. And then she looked at it, we looked at it, and then she called her bank and was like, I can't afford it. I said, well, can I contact the seller independent of you? And she said, sure. So I contacted them and they said, well, we're interviewing agents. I'm like, well, let's meet. Let's talk about it. And so I just met with them and I said, I have a buyer for you. So I'm doing both sides.
That is awesome. That's awesome. I think it's always great to talk about the homes that are on the market, but you guys have the MLS, right? What I think is the most important for you guys to glean from this is when we talk about these, how'd you get them, right? Because we all want to know how you found the gold. You see the gold, how did you find the gold? What did you have to do to get there? All right, anybody else have anything, any buyer needs they want to talk about? I mean, there has to be some.
I've got something just extra to add to put in a plug for Carrie, for you guys, for the office, about it a ton, is that, I know everybody's got different schedules and everything too, but especially people online, the office. Because just like family union, you've got around all the people who are doing the same things, and like, there's a few people in the office that are here often, I'm one of them, but it benefits me. I've made good relationships with the people that are here, and you start to become more of, okay, yeah, this whole office is a team, not just a collection of 200 agents that doesn't hardly know each other. No one's working together to help further their own business, because there's still going to be plenty of business out there. We could all work together and take it from everybody else's. Absolutely. That was Gary's big thing, is go steal it from everybody else this year. Just go take it.
There's very little chance that you guys are going to run into each other in the markets, in the market. So let's collaborate the hell out of it, right?
Everybody else.
If it's simple classes, like you guys throw in the new stuff, like you said, yeah, it's for new agents, but get some more experienced agents in here too, to help them, build them up, keep them moving, and yeah, get everybody.
It's also just dedicated time to do it. So you don't need to learn anything that we tell you.
But at the end of the day, you gotta do something.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's going to be hard.
You can send checks, you
Yes.
can, I mean, just do something.
It's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it, right? We're going to put more weight on the bar this year. And the way you lift more weight, be around people that are pushing you to lift more weight, right? And they're congratulating you when you do it. And when you don't, they're pushing you to try it again.
Couple things that Gary had said that I like super highlighted was, you better be better than your problems. This year, find 10 to 15 relationships most important to you and let them know it. And who deserves your energy and who doesn't, what gives you energy and what drains your energy. And the biggest one at the bottom, discipline. That's what it's going to take this year, is discipline.
I can guarantee you, if you're coming to the office, I mean, they're gonna do it by phone too. Not one person in this office, no matter who they are, if you go to them and say, I'm gonna do it. I know we're hearing it all the time, but tell me what you do that's different, that's really helped you. Guarantee he's gonna share. That's what they're here for. That's what, I mean, truthfully, I know we all think KW offers. But for me, seeing it, having also been it with a different brokerage, it's the secrets that we don't keep, that we share, because we want you to be just as successful as we can. I think that's amazing.
You too.
We'll flip to you can talk to the next one.
Go ahead, Derek.
Like 3 slides, I'm done.
So we are taking a relaunch for the MAC, right? We want to get re-involved. I believe that the MAC is one of the most important community initiatives that we can have. I believe that it falls in line with DEI from diversity, equity, inclusion from KW. I believe that this could be a shining example in our market for the rest of the country on how to actually put action behind DEI and create change. So Carrie and I have talked a lot about this, but really what we're going to be doing is we're going to be encouraging where we're really looking at different cultures. We're going to be talking about how we're working with those people in those cultures. We're going to be eating some food with people with those demographics. So everybody loves food. Throw on top of that some opportunities for us to, one, draw in additional people to the markets. How many communities in the Twin Cities are underserved by our industry, right? And how many are underserved by an opportunity to get into our industry? We have one of the most, if not the most diverse market center by capita, per capita, of anywhere in the North Central region. So let's lead by example and continue to expand our multicultural approach and bring in agents from other cultures, bring in home buyers. That I talked to Karen last night. Do you know that only 10% of all Somali immigrants own homes? In the 10%, you guys. Do you know how to work with Somali families? Do you know how to provide financing?
What
No.
did you just say, Grant, to that?
We have the highest Somali population of the world outside of Somalia.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10%.
So I actually live in a community of Somali. And Somali people are not difficult to work with. What you need to know is are they Muslim? Don't assume that every Somali is a Muslim. They cannot pay interest on their mortgages, so they need special financing. So you need a Denmark.
So you guys, here's what, I talked to Taryn last night. We're gonna get really serious about this Somali initiative specifically, because we believe we can build a community here that is embracing of that, creating generational wealth for families, for Somali families, right? And giving opportunity to agents or individuals who would be incredible agents to have an opportunity to have a career worth having. Go ahead, Steve.
To comment on that, which I applaud for sure. I think right now, some of you guys may or may not know that I think right this moment, Jordan, help me, I think we've got upwards of about 50 people that are somewhere between beginning Kaplan education and almost finished. And I'm gonna guess, Jordan, there's probably 10 to 15 of those humans that are Somali.
Yeah. And that gives us an opportunity to walk our talk, like Gary said, right? Let's walk our talk. Let's be about who we are, be about digging down and finding people that we can help.
So those are just some of the dates, and then we got, just real quick, this is super quick, but guys, another great way to touch your clients is the 2023 Fair Housing Coloring Contest is open. Realize this, they have practice on the adult level. So go to your Spark page and see it, but why not get this out there and get either your clients' children or the clients themselves doing this for an opportunity to share their picture of everyone is welcome in my neighborhood, and I'll that drawing. So again,
Speak to this to your customer about your diversity, equity, and inclusion. This gives it, it's a great touch. It's also a great reminder that you work with people that don't look like you all do.
oh, I think if you have I just like
You guys were having an incredible night.
80 more than last
I
year.
don't know, Todd might not even allow me to work here after that night. That's just gonna be nuts.
All right, next, quick. And these are also on your flow charts. Okay, seriously, people, $150 for agents. It's gonna cost clients, just one client to get rid of stuff. More than that, get on this. Ask Sean to create a graphic for you, specific to your team, to your name, to your solo agent, and RSVP to do this. You guys, we do all the basic, well, if you got all the heavy lifting, because we do need your help to take some of those things out of the back of the pickup truck. But you're gonna do all that heavy lifting for your clients, and this, while they love the Christmas event, while they love the beer patch, this is the event that everybody looks forward to, because nobody wants to pay to get rid of their junk. If you can just drive through this parking lot, which now we're in a perfect place, and drop your, you give it crap, it's awesome. It is so easy because you've got shredding, free electronics, and free junk. And then also things that they want to donate, so. That was Chad's pickup truck there. That's his, and then, okay, so on the left, and then, sorry.
Whether you like or not, whether you just got in this industry or you've been in it for 30 years, you just got thrown a curve. The market is not going to be as good as it was. It overheated, prices got too high, inflation went completely off the rails, and we got a challenge. And we're going to have to work our way through this. Your goal is to be alive and be thriving on the other side, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to understand something. Not everybody can do that. There aren't enough sales for everyone to thrive. Do you understand that? You have 1.6 million realtors. Wake freaking up. Wake up. Wake up. You are literally going to have to be different if you're going to have a different outcome than the average, right?
All right, guys, so we're gonna, everybody stand up because we're gonna
Yeah, let's sit up. Okay, all right. From the vegetarian, go. Build careers worth having, business worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving. When I go to meet, when I talk to Shane today. Yeah. And after Shane, we're gonna do something.
Here.